What's up, family? It's Tommy Bigg Vic. We back with another video. Let's get right into today's episode. You seen the title, you click the play button, and here we are. You guys have witnessed my up and down journey with Amazon Relay since the beginning of my company running their freight, hence my love-hate relationship that so many of us have with them. Unfortunately, we are back at a zero, goose egg, no score, out of nowhere. So I have some interesting theories about why these things are continuously happening, not just to my company, but to a lot of you guys based on what you've mentioned in the comments and other videos. One of the major concerns for me is how Amazon has a lot of you guys running 4 or 5 postal routes that once were not bundled up into so many stops. I clearly can see as a company, they're trying to save money with more and more carriers coming on board to move their freight. Now, as with any business model, you should always look for ways to spend less and make more, right? Not only that, but the pay hasn't increased for these additional stops that are bundled into the mix, but they're actually paying less money. These can be found all over their load board. Some other cities I've seen as much as 7 stops on a route. Shout out to you guys doing 7 postal drops. My hat's off to you. Now, there was a time when I could have a 100 A+ score and not feel forced to run Amazon Relay freight without my performance score being affected. I'm currently under the assumption that in order to maintain this score, we are now being forced to run a certain amount of Amazon's loads within a 6-week period to keep up our performance scores. Ooh, but this isn't written nowhere in the app or in any of the training. It's always been as long as you are on time without any interruptions, your company should be in good standing with Amazon. Maybe it's just me, but have any of you noticed that the app for mobile is extra sensitive to touch now? There used to be a book button on the first page of the loads inside the Relay app. So if you're not careful, you can book a load by mistake. And by the way, if you don't accept it and add a driver and reject said load, it will go against your company's performance as a rejection. Wow. Don't bother sending any emails, although you can try reaching your middle mile partner for your area, but chances are you'll be reduced to seeing even cheaper freight than what's already being posted on the load board during the off-peak seasons. Yes, this is the game that Amazon so often plays with pretty much all carriers across the board. Posting a truck may bail you out of a slump if you are a savvy user, or it could also send you further down the rabbit hole of trying to climb back up that good old performance score mountain. At this point, y'all, I gotta call a spade a spade. The system, I feel, is really rigged up in a way that almost sets new carriers up for failure. Think about how much time you have to actually load your truck up at the Amazon facility when running these postal routes. Some Amazons will not allow you to show up an hour early before it's time to get your truck loaded up. Hence, this really puts you on a time crunch from the very beginning of the check-in process. And if you happen to go to an Amazon that is disorganized, you will find yourself looking for the pallets that have to go on your truck for your route. Yep, but most organized facilities will try and have your pallets lined up where your truck will dock at, but make note that it can vary from Amazon to Amazon. But here's where I started to notice some weird things kicking in when I filed a dispute for traffic delays to my origin. Last year, mid-September, I filed a dispute due to traffic that I had absolutely no control over and received this very interesting email back from Amazon. It said, late arrivals to origin due to traffic are considered carrier controllable with the expectation that carriers monitor traffic conditions prior to dispatch. We understand that circumstances may happen beyond carrier control, and as a result, our minimum performance expectations already take into account an acceptable level of error. Performance will not be adjusted for these instances. Carriers are expected to give themselves ample amount of time to arrive to the pickup location on time to foresee any delays, traffic, construction, detours. Therefore, late arrivals to the first segment in the route is carrier controllable. Carrier controllable. At the end of the day, some of it I get and some of it I don't. If you don't set time frames, you could have carriers arriving late to postal routes or even Amazon to Amazon loads. Everyone's not going to be on time all the time. This is what's called human error, right? Which makes me start thinking about AI controlled trucks again, but that's for another video. Look guys, if you're just getting started in the business and need an experienced dispatch team, here's a quick word from today's sponsor of this video. Are you an owner-operator looking to grow a successful trucking company? Most experienced operators understand various issues they face when out on the road, like hunting for the best loads, negotiating with shippers and brokers, filling out and scanning paperwork, booking loads quickly en route, and immediately sending invoices after the drop-off. See, it costs a lot to run a truck. If you don't have consistent cash flow coming in, your business will suffer. You need a knowledgeable support team to ensure your truck is always running and earning income. Unfortunately, strong back offices like this cost money and can be too much for the early stages of your business. But what if I told you you can have an experienced team behind you without any contracts or monthly fees? A team whose pay is directly tied to your own success. Meet Dispatch Experts. They are a team of 100 strong professional dispatchers with years of experience that help over 2,000 carriers like yourself keep moving and keep earning. Listen, they work with all types of equipment. They have built a vast network of shippers and brokers, no contracts or monthly fees, and you can accept or reject loads as needed. So listen, you can get set up with Dispatch Experts within minutes and only pay for those trips that you take. I will have a link down below in the description box that you guys can get set up with Dispatch Experts. For a lot of you guys that are new, a lot of you guys that have been asking me about a dispatching company, what dispatchers I've used. And I've always said since the very beginning of when I got in the business, I always kept a couple of dispatchers. So when I am on the road, and if they can find a load before I can find a load for myself, I will use a dispatcher. And these guys are super reasonable. I've sent people to these guys several times. And if you're looking for a great dispatcher, I think you guys should tap in with dispatchexperts.com. Here's the skinny. Way down deep inside, I really feel like as much as I try to follow all of the guidelines and follow this system to the letter, I keep getting hit with surprises that makes me think to myself, how many people are actually getting their scores knocked down for simple reasons, left to only be able to book cheaper paying freight to keep their companies afloat? Makes sense, doesn't it? And if this is the only source of income that they rely on to pay their bills and overhead to keep the doors open, then I can see why the average person will call Amazon Relay trash if this is their experience. The bigger question people still ask, even after watching hundreds of videos on YouTube, is can they be profitable with Amazon Relay? You can be profitable with Amazon, but I repeat, if you are not in a major metropolitan area, the rates you see on the load board will vary from state to state, city to city. Some decent, some straight garbito, also known as trash. You will, however, have to be super strategic booking spot loads from the load board, or use postal truck to get paid what you feel your truck route should be worth. But just because you have an A+ doesn't automatically guarantee that you will get the highest paying loads, but it will allow you to see high paying loads first if it hits the load board before carriers that do not have a high performance score. Like this whole scoring model, y'all. This whole scoring model just makes me feel like I'm back in school all over again. Like this was the main factor that pushed me to start moving freight over the road and kept my anxiety levels low. Now keep it real with me, y'all. Y'all know the first couple of Amazon Relay loads had you nervous as a hooker in church. Because you know lates will affect you day one and there won't be too much remorse they will have for you. Why? Because this means you can keep working, but the rate per mile will not look like anything that will make sense for a one-way trip. Listen, I pretty much mastered anything pertaining to Amazon Relay, but when it comes to cheap freight, I'm not booking it. If I have to have a 0 score, I'll suck it up and keep it moving. Postal truck is super tricky out here in Charlotte. After doing this for 2 years, I don't care to run as much Amazon Relay as I did in the beginning. I looked at the contracts for different states and cities. Some of the weekly box truck contracts pay is not that attractive. Some cities, the rates weren't that bad. And all of these factors will vary from carrier to carrier. Some of you guys with paid off equipment may be able to move these loads, while others with notes and more overhead, it just won't make sense. It just won't make sense. Have you ran any weekly box truck contract loads for Amazon? The pay is supposed to cover you for round trip loads. Did the numbers add up for you and your business? Did it make sense? Is it enough to actually pay a driver to run the loads and your company still be profitable? I know it's guaranteed pay. Even if they cancel the load, they still have to fulfill the contractual agreement with your company. These are just some of my thoughts and what I think is going on with Amazon Relay, y'all. Trust and believe, most companies of this size will try and figure out the best way to make the most money while paying less to get the job done. Drop down in the comments what you guys' thoughts are and some of your experiences you guys are having while running Amazon Relay. Just know, New Ventures is not with the play. We need the pay. You feel me? You know the slogan. Always hustle. Never stop growing. It's Tommy Bigg Vic. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat. I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.